Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video, and today we're talking Ark Mobile. I got this question 2 days ago, I think. Basically the question was, what about Ark Mobile? Because I haven't uploaded anything Ark Mobile related in a while. And the reason for that is, I'm just gonna my voice is leaving me now that I need it. I'm just gonna, I guess, come out and say it's become stale for me. Not because it's a bad game or anything, but because I've played it so much, and what's it called? There hasn't been many new updates. There's been a few, but not many game-changing updates. Especially now, I think updates have slowed down. I do have some ideas for Ark Mobile videos for those who do want to see that. But they're more they're videos that take longer, I guess you could say. So then what's this video about? What are we doing here? What are we talking about? Well, I thought of a few ways that maybe Ark Mobile could be updated or changed to become more, what's it called? To reinvigorate, I think is the word I'm looking for. To change things up a bit, I guess. The first would be changing pre-existing items, or improving upon pre-existing items. This is mainly the tech items. So, you know, the tech saddles, the tech armor itself, because they were added to the game, but they don't really do much. They don't change the game that much. And, you know, it's understandable. There are limits to mobile. PCs struggle with Ark, so you can't expect a mobile device to do the same things. But I think there could have been more done with it, with the armor and the saddles, especially the saddles. So, for example, you could have made it so that the chest piece made you jump higher, gave you a double jump, or you could have given it the ability that, I guess maybe not, because I was gonna say the ability of the, whatchamacallit, the dragonfly. I think that's what it's called, dragonfly backpack that's in the game, but that's an in-app purchase. But you could have made it, you know, you could have given it a double jump. You could have given it a big jump, just like a straight up big jump, kind of like kangaroos have. For the leggings, I think a speed boost would have been fine, just as is. I think what the tech armor does, it gives you a 15% boost to all stats. So the boots already give you the ability to not take fall damage, I think. And I already went over the chest piece. I don't know what the gauntlets could do. They could maybe, I don't know, give you some kind of like super punch. Not to the same extent that PC has, but something like that, you know. Maybe gives the enemy torpor when you punch them. That might be fun. And the helmet you could have made a combination of the gas mask and the scuba gear. You know, just give them some more use, give them more purpose, because as they are now, you know, the boosts they give you aren't that great. And considering how much you have to do in order to get them, you have to go through the dungeons, and you have to gather the element and whatever other resources you may need, which I know aren't cheap. You know, and then you gather everything up, and you end up with something that's not really that great, you know. Stat-wise, it's not that great. You could probably get flak or riot gear that's better. For maybe less resources and definitely less of a hassle. But I think that would be a good start, you know, improving upon items that we have already in the game to add a little bit more interest, a little bit more, I guess, yeah, interest into the game. I feel bad saying that because that's not exactly what I mean. I guess add more purpose to the game, because once you've done, once you've played through the game and, you know, tamed all the creatures and you've built many bases, you kind of, you run out of things to do. And they introduced dungeons to kind of combat that, but their rewards for the cost of running them aren't the greatest. No, I'm not saying, you know, that dungeons were a horrible idea. I'm not saying, you know, dungeons aren't worth the time. I'm not saying that, you know, people didn't work hard on dungeons, because I know they did. I'm saying that it's not as good as it could be, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Another way to make the game more interesting would be taking the bosses from the dungeons and bringing them into the the island map. So, what's it called? Making them world bosses. You know, they appear once a week. And they just appear on the server. You have to take them out. They're difficult to take out, and they go after structures. You can do that. They go after structures. They give decent loot, and you're forced to work with other people in order to defeat them. I think that would be pretty fun. You know, preparing for an attack, defending your base from these bosses that could pose a real threat. Or you could do what's it called? You could implement more alpha creatures. You can change up alpha creatures to be more difficult. Because right now, really, they're not too tough. I know Becca, I think it was Becca anyways, said that they are the same as, the same stats and everything as on PC and the other versions of the game. But I think because in Ark Mobile you get gear very easily, you get good gear very easily, it kind of negates it. And it's a good thing to, you know, be able to play the game and progress fast and not have too much of a I just really butchered that word up. Not have that much of a difficulty. But I think there's a point where it gets to be too easy. You know, just beef up those alphas, make them challenging again, introduce new ones. I had the idea for an alpha the other day. It was, you know, a Triceratops, an alpha Triceratops. You have Triceratopses, Triceratopi, travel in herds, have kind of a herding behavior, where they travel together in a group, and, you know, the highest level one becomes the alpha, who will attack you if you get too close. It will be stronger than the other Triceratops. it'll be untamable. And you can do that for other creatures as well. You know, it gives the other Triceratops a boost. I think that's something alphas do naturally anyways, but it could be an improved boost. Carnos already have an alpha variant, but they're not that strong. The same goes for a T-Rex. But yeah, more alphas would be fun. Getting world bosses would definitely be a really fun concept that I think could work. And the next thing, what's the next thing? I forgot. I forgot what I was gonna say for one of them, so I'll move on to the next one, the final one, and that is more mobile exclusive DLCs. I think mobile exclusive DLCs were a really good idea. You know, the Dodos are fun, the Mammoth is unique, and it makes sense. So why not give some more creatures a DLC? I have a list. I don't think I'll be going through it in its entirety right now, but I can give a few off the top of my head. I'll post the list in the video, and I'll edit it in. That's what I'm trying to say. But you know, you can make the Ankylosaur bigger. You know, the R1 in Ark is actually, I think, smaller than the real life counterpart, which is odd for Ark, because most dinosaurs are like 3 times bigger. But you could make the Ankylosaur bigger. You could have it give a broken bone debuff when it hits creatures. You could make it destroy metal bases, and you could just buff its stats all around. And you don't have to do that for all Ankylosaurs. You can have them be what's it called, like the Dodos, where you have to breed them into that size category. I think that's a good idea. Another one I thought of the other day was the Scorpion. You could make Scorpions breedable, and you could improve their torpor output to maybe make them more useful. Because as they are right now, I don't think they're a good idea for taming creatures. But you know, if you improve their torpor output, then maybe they could be. Which is kind of leads me into the Saber TLC. I think Sabers desperately need a TLC because they're kind of useless. The Wolves got a TLC not too long ago. Actually, maybe it was a long time ago. But they can wear helmets now, so that gives them armor. And that just makes the armor combined with the Wolf's pack bonus, and I think higher health stat, makes Sabers pretty useless. So I think that giving Sabers maybe like a bleed ability would make them a little bit more useful. Maybe a kind of dash attack. That might not be a too bad idea. That's feasible, because I know I'm trying to keep in mind that Wardrum, number 1, is a small studio. Number 2, we're talking about mobile here. Again, it's limited in what it can do. And secondly, we are in the middle of a pandemic. That might have been thirdly, actually. But anyway, we are in the middle of a pandemic. And I think that Wardrum is actually not focusing on Ark Mobile as much. That's, I think, what I heard. That they're moving on, which, you know, I don't blame them for. I know that, you know, you can't focus on one game for years and years and years. You have to move on to other things. What was I saying? Anyways, back to the TLCs. I think these are feasible. Again, I'll put up some more in when I edit the video. And going back to the tech saddles, which I completely forgot to talk about. you could give the tech saddles abilities, because as they stand now, they're really only cosmetics. Because they obviously can't have the laser blast ability because of the limitations on mobile. But their stats are most of the time the saddle stats on the tech saddles are worse than what you might find in the daily gift and in blueprints, wherever you might find blueprints. So there's really no point in having them other than having them be there and look nice. So I think giving them abilities could be a good idea. You know, for the Rex saddle, you could give it a bone break ability. You know, something like Jawbreaker. It's just off the top of my head, but you know, T-Rex saddle, Jawbreaker ability. You could, and it increases the T-Rex stats by, you know, 20% or something like that. Or not all stats, just melee stats. But that's just a thought. It's gonna take a lot more creative thinking than me to add something to them. But you know, stuff like that for at least the Moza, the Megalodon, and the Rex, because the Tapehara saddle is actually, I don't know what you could do to Tapehara to make it better. That's what I'm getting at. But anyways, moving on to, I think I forgot it again. Yep, I forgot it again. Okay, I can't remember. But yeah, those are my ideas for how I think Ark Mobile could be not improved, because I'm not saying it's a bad game. Excuse me. But some more life could be brought into it. You know, by changing up a lot of creatures and making it so that you have more variation and more options in the creatures you could use. Because as of now, one of the problems with the creatures in Ark is that while there is a lot of them, some are just simply a lot better than the others, you know, so you don't really have a reason to use some of the other ones. And that's kind of been the point of TLCs. So, you know, they improve the Spino, they improve the Raptors, all that. And I think that's something that could help Ark Mobile in the long run. But again, these are just suggestions. These are just my thoughts on how I would improve, or not improve. I really feel like a bully right now. On how I could, I guess, increase the longevity of the game. Something that would definitely make me play more often is having more options with the creatures. Having to defend my base against a boss, I think that would be pretty fun. It would be fun, but it would also be a complicated system to add, because for players who can't play, you know, every day, and you know the boss spawns in, that might be pretty horrible. But anywho, these are just my thoughts. Ark Mobile will continue on the channel in some way, shape, or form. I've got a few ideas. I could make the TLC a separate video. I want to continue the cinematics. I'm just planning that out, however, and I want to make an Ark Mobile funny video, funny edition. That's gonna take a lot of editing. But anyway, guys, leave a like if you enjoyed. Shout out to Wardrum. They're a great team. They're full of awesome people. Please don't beat me up because I said that Ark Mobile is a little boring. To me anyways. I think it's mainly because I've played it so much. But anyways, have a great day, guys.